Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the Harris County Democratic Party this morning. My name is Otis Abogaro. I am the chair of the Harris County Democratic Party. As you see, I have some friends here with me this morning because we want to talk about some serious issues and make some progress here in this country, particularly here in Harris County. We're here because we're talking about immigration reform. We also want to talk about the parliamentarians' advice and also talk about the filibuster and how we need reform for these things. And as you can see, I have my friends from Field, Workers Defense, and also from Crescent. Am I saying that right? Yes, Crescent. Okay, good. I've been working on it. And so we have some friends here because this is a very serious issue. And as you all know, last week they came to our office. And one thing about democracy is beautiful. We have a First Amendment, and we're here protesting to make sure that we're living what we're speaking, and we're really intentional about that. And so the one thing that I really wanted to talk about was the parliamentarians' advice and also the filibuster. It's no secret here at the Harris County Democratic Party, we believe in getting rid and abolishing what is the Jim Crow relic that is the filibuster. It's been used to obstruct progress, and we don't need it anymore. We need immigration reform now. And what immigration reform does, it allows people like Otis Abogaro to become the party chair of the Harris County Democratic Party. My parents are Nigerian. I was born in London. So these are the stories that we need to be telling. And this is why it's important to create a pathway to citizenship. But we can't do it when our government is being obstructed. We've got to push here starting at the local level. Tim O'Neill, the former Speaker of the House, once said, all politics is local. And once you can push the local, you can start pushing the statewide, you can start pushing the national narrative. And so as you can see, we've had these parliamentarian rulings, we've had these filibusters that's been obstructing justice and obstructing progress. And we want to get rid of those because we know how important the lives are at stake. And also too, when it comes to immigration reform, what it does, that it allows for people to now get a higher minimum wage. These things are intertwined. It allows us to expand Medicaid and expand access to healthcare. It allows us to make sure that our schools are publicly funded adequately, where we're not the 43rd in the country per pupil spending. This is why it's important, because all of these things are intertwined, and it directly speaks into the lives of not just folks who are here, but our dreamers, DACA, those who are undocumented, so that way they can live a better life. We can't be American. We can't continually promote ourselves as the land of opportunity, but not actually get it. We have to do it. We have to push ourselves. So, I'm here. We'll take some questions later, but I did want to introduce my friend Cesar Espinoza from Field to talk more about these issues and stand in solidarity with our friends.
Number one, we want to thank the Harris County Democratic Party for establishing dialogue and for being receptive to the plea that we have. And I think we can serve as a model. I think, other places and other parts of the country should take this example and establish dialogue with your local political allies, with your local political even counterparts, to make sure that at the end of the day we get what our community deserves. My name is Cesar Espinoza, and I'm Executive Director of FIED. We are here with what we hope will be the first step in a series of processes to make sure that our community gets what we deserve, which is a pathway to citizenship, not just for dreamers, not just for TPS recipients, but for the 11 million undocumented people who are here working every single day, who were essential prior to the pandemic, who were essential during the pandemic, and who will continue to be essential just because they're great human beings and part of the American fabric. So we want to make sure that our message is clear, that we want real leadership to stand out, leadership that we believe in to stand out and really ignore the parliamentarians' advice to not include a pathway to citizenship in the appropriations bill or in the budget bill, so that together we can move forward, and together as a community we can begin to fix our very broken immigration system. But we want to make sure that we highlight that this is the first step of what we hope to be a series of dialogues that we have with the local party, as well as with all people involved, to make sure that we get, at the end of the day, the justice that our community deserves. Mi nombre es César Espinoza y estoy aquí. Nos enorgullece de participar hoy con el partido demócrata del condado Harris. Y para nosotros es importante
importante que otra gente vea este ejemplo y que tome el ejemplo de establecer realmente comunicación con sus oficiales electos locales para que juntos podamos continuar a crecer este movimiento nacional para que se consiga un camino a la reforma migratoria, un camino a la ciudadanía, no solamente para los Dreamers, no solamente para las personas de TPS, pero para los más de 11 millones de personas indocumentadas que viven dentro de los Estados Unidos, que han sido esenciales antes de la pandemia, durante la pandemia y después de la pandemia. Es importante que nosotros establecemos estos diálogos para que juntos podamos salir adelante y juntos podamos trabajar para un mejor futuro, no solamente para nosotros, pero para nuestras familias. De nuevo, esto es un primer buen paso. Nuestro mensaje es claro: queremos que el Partido Demócrata a nivel nacional ignore lo que nosotros creemos que es una falsa expectativa de la parlamentaria de no incluir un camino a la reforma migratoria para los más de 11 millones de personas que viven en este país, ya que creemos que eso es lo que nos merecemos y por eso estamos trabajando. Con eso esperamos que este sea el principio de un diálogo a nivel nacional y nos hubiese estar aquí con nuestros aliados y nuestras soluciones que han trabajado por décadas para que esto pase. Ahora voy a introducir a Crescent y ellos van a hablar acerca de su posición y acerca de por qué ellos están luchando.
Hello everyone, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Shialeweb. I am 23 years old and I am a DACA recipient. I received my DACA when I was 15 years old and it really changed my life because it granted me the opportunity to attend college. I went to the University of St. Thomas and I graduated with an engineering physics degree. And it was really hard for me to pay for school because I was not granted any federal financial help. I had to pay it all through scholarships, hard work, and dedication. Also, my family helped me financially, and I really appreciate that. I am not saying that DACA did not help me at all because, like I said, it granted me the huge opportunity for me to get an education, and that is something that I value at the most. And what I am asking today is that I do not want to live with the uncertainty of what's going to happen tomorrow. It happened already with the administration of Trump when he decided to take DACA, and I can assure you that I cried for that night because it was living with the uncertainty that I had to go back to a country that I did not know anything about. I am originally from El Salvador and I came to the United States when I was 5, and like I said, I want to live in peace with my mind at peace, knowing that I can live here in the United States. I consider myself American because I've been living here ever since for so long, and I feel like I deserve to stay here and to be granted the opportunity to receive that residency and a pathway to citizenship. Mi nombre es Shialeweb y les quiero agradecer primero que todo por darme la oportunidad de hablar aquí en frente de ustedes. Yo me vine de los Estados Unidos con mi mamá a los 5 años y recibí mi DACA cuando tenía 15 años. DACA me dio la oportunidad de ir a la escuela, de poder graduarme con un Bachelor's of Science in Engineering Physics, y pues en el momento ahorita estoy buscando trabajo y pues cuando agarré mi educación yo no recibí mucha ayuda financiera del estado de los Estados Unidos. La mayor parte de mi educación fue pagada por becas, por mi dedicación, también por mis padres. No estoy diciendo que DACA, de haber recibido DACA no me haya ayudado, porque en realidad sí me ayudó mucho, pero lo que estoy pidiendo ahora es que no quiero vivir con sin incertidumbre de que en el futuro no voy a poder tener el estatus legal aquí en los Estados Unidos y que me van a mandar a un país que yo no conozco mucho. Mi país es El Salvador, pero yo he vivido más de 18, 19 años en los Estados Unidos y yo me considero americana. Gracias por todo.
Muchas gracias. Mi nombre es Teodoro Aguiluz, representando a la organización Crescent, y me da mucho gusto estar en esta oportunidad haciendo este esfuerzo y un llamado también a las otras sedes del Partido Demócrata a nivel que sigan el ejemplo de lo que está haciendo el partido aquí en el condado de Harris, trabajando con las comunidades para unirse a este esfuerzo nacional de hacer un llamado a la parlamentaria de que se separe de este esfuerzo que están haciendo las comunidades. Estamos haciendo un llamado al Partido Demócrata, a ese liderazgo, para que ignoren el papel de la parlamentaria que no quiere que se incluya el tema migratorio en esta negociación. Yo creo que esta es la gran oportunidad de que el Partido Demócrata haga historia, dándole un merecido reconocimiento a los trabajadores que han contribuido y siguen contribuyendo a la grandeza de esta nación, otorgándoles una residencia camino a la ciudadanía. Creemos que también hay otros grupos que tienen que ser incluidos, que están con permisos temporales como DACA, como TPS, como los trabajadores agrícolas, los trabajadores esenciales, que son aquellos a quienes tienen que dárseles el reconocimiento por su papel constante en la grandeza y en el engrandecimiento de esta nación. Nos da mucho gusto poder estar aquí con ustedes y que este esfuerzo sea tomado como ejemplo a nivel nacional para poder conseguir por lo que hemos venido luchando a través de tantos años. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a todos. So now we'll have a representative for Workers Defense Project. They'll come up and give a statement.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sira Adera. I'm the Policy Session Campaign Coordinator for Workers Defense Project. As an immigrant from Ethiopia, the current state of immigration in this country is near and dear to my heart. So today I want to share a few words and say a few words to those individuals who are in positions of power. This is our message to you from our communities. Vice President Kamala Harris. Vice President Kamala Harris has the authority to clear the way for immigration reform for undocumented immigrants in our community, and she must use that power. Our communities won't accept any excuses knowing that Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Immigrant communities mobilize to put Democrats, not an unelected parliamentarian, in control. This is the year we pass immigration reform, and Democrats must use every tool in the toolbox to make this a reality instead of hiding behind the position of a bureaucrat. Democrats ran on an agenda and a promise of immigration reform, especially as immigrants and undocumented workers were risking their own well-being in the middle of a pandemic to keep this country afloat. Time and time again, our communities are used as pawns in a chess game. Enough is enough. Deliver on your promises and do the jobs you were elected to do. Get it done.
So as you can see, we have some very passionate people, and one of the things that I love about our party is that we are the party of the Big Ten. So it's not just about speaking English, it's Spanish speakers as well too. Even my parents speak language. We have an immigrant from Ethiopia as well. This affects a lot of people, and so we've got to get it done. We've got to see action done. Look, just like the previous speaker just mentioned, the people put us in power for a reason. Put us in power for reasons to get stuff done. As you all know, here at the Democratic Party, we believe, especially the Harris County Democratic Party, running a platform that centers around what we call the DMV, the disenfranchised, marginalized, and voiceless. We build coalitions around that, and we build coalitions around those that don't have like the top 1%. We're a better country for it. We are. So we've got to make sure that our voices are being heard. We've got to make sure that we're making action and we're taking action. And we've got to, as a Democratic Party, stand up and stand behind our folks who are asking for these actions to be delivered. We can get it done. We can. Let me also say this. We've seen the other party when they're in power, when they're in control. They get it done. We can do it too. We can't be afraid to use the power that the people have entrusted us with, especially when we are doing it to help people and not hurt them. So I hope that, our message is resound. I hope our message is strong. Just like Senator said, this is a great opportunity, first step for us to work together, collaborate, and make sure that we're getting done at the most basic level of government to make sure that people are no longer hungry, people can actually afford housing, and we don't criminalize homelessness like we just did in the state legislature. Like I mentioned before, all of these tie into immigration reform. It's not just a single topic issue. When we can get these things done, it's better for everyone in our society. So if anyone has any questions for us, let us know. We're here to answer them.
You mentioned the filibuster, and you're saying to get rid of the filibuster, but when the former administration was in office, the Democratic Party used the filibuster to try to stop some of the hateful or some of the policies that were being pushed forward by Republicans and the Trump administration. And so, wouldn't that be hurting you if you get rid of the filibuster?
Yeah, we get that question a lot too about the filibuster and how it was used before to obstruct justice. But what people don't ever mention is how Majority Leader at that time, Mitch McConnell, bypassed the filibuster to have judicial lifetime appointment after lifetime appointment after lifetime appointment. And now there's a whole generation of Republican appointments on our judiciary that actually cements these laws that will be hurtful in the future. Look, I've always said this: when the people vote for who they want, they should be able to use the power to their full ability. That's all we're asking here. And even if you don't get rid of the filibuster overwhelmingly, there's carve-outs and provisions that you can use, just like the Republicans did in the previous administration, to get these lifetime appointments on. So yes, I recognize that people think that it's a tool that we can use in the future, but if we're doing what we say we're supposed to do, we can get our undocumented folks, get a pathway to citizenship, and make them voters, right? And they're going to be voting for the party that's actually been sticking up for them and passing laws that's helping them. I think that argument that I hear all the time about, well, if we're getting the minority, we're going to need the filibuster. Pardon my French, but that's not a winning mentality. A winning mentality means we're going to be at the top and we're going to stay there. And that means we're going to keep passing laws that are going to help people through and through. And so, yes, I totally understand and recognize that argument, but right now the people elected Joe Biden to be president. They elected a Democratic Congress, and they gave us 50 senators plus one with Vice President Kamala Harris.
One thing you mentioned, when you think of immigration and what the U.S. president is doing right now is trying to work with Honduras and Salvador. And can you guys talk about the work that the administration is doing in El Salvador as far as investment especially dealing with the government of El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala?
So what's going on right now is really going to take a lot of time to fix, and it's not going to be something that one administration can do. We all must do better in order to fix global issues and to also be mindful of whatever foreign policy we accept in order to not continue to duplicate mistakes that have been made in the past. And so with this administration, with the past administration, with any administration, we just want to be mindful of that and know that whatever is done right now, the same thing is a good first step, but there has to be more to be done. Because the other things we don't talk about is for example, the tragedy of climate change that is going to happen, where we see, for example, last year, that Guatemalans were the largest people leaving Central America because their country is in shambles, not because of anything political, but because of climate change. And that's not going to be up to one country or one administration to solve, but rather all of us coming together as a planet and making sure that we create the changes so that these things don't keep happening.
Yeah, and I think that, and to even further talk about that, is that we all know that this is a process, right? And we know that it's going to take more than one administration. But again, like someone was talking about, immigration reform is really important because all of these topics are intertwined together. Think about climate change, right? It's not a political problem. It's not because of political culture wars that's happening in Guatemala, but it's because of the climate change that's happening there. That's why people are leaving. And so we've also got to recognize that too. And I think I'll close with this as well too. I think when we talk about immigration, talking about immigrants and undocumented folks, I would like to remind you that, when people are leaving their country, they're leaving their country of comfort. It's the language they speak, it's the families that they're leaving behind. I think we lose sight of that. I think people think that people are just coming here just to come here. It's like, no, there's real problems in these countries, and they're leaving their place of comfort to come to a country they don't know. And they're trying to be comfortable here. Criminals. In fact, I think all throughout the 2016 election, even the 2020 election, right, we kept hearing all this disinformation and misinformation. Well, if you bring all the people here, they're the ones committing crimes, which is patently false. They're not the ones committing the crimes here. It's people that actually live here, that grow up here, that are born here, that are committing the most crimes in this country. When they're leaving, they want to come here and make a better life for their families, the kids they have. Education is pretty big. Make sure they're able to take money and not just have it for their family here, but take it back home and help their families back home. So, this farce that all of a sudden we're bringing in criminals and we're doing all these things is a lie. It perpetuates the big lie that we've all been hearing for the past year, 2 years and a half. So keeping that in mind, that people are leaving their place of comfort to come to a country they don't understand and know very well, and trying to adapt to it and just trying to make the best they can and make an earnest living. So we want to get rid of the filibuster. We want to ignore the parliamentarians' advice, which is just that, advice. It's not binding. We can bypass it and create a better life for people in America and Texas